Rent versus buy, the qualitative side. I've discussed the quantitative points in a previous video. Please remember to watch that video before continuing on to this one. Like I said in the past, everyone keeps asking about the financial side, but I actually think the non-financial side might be more important. What I found is that people usually have a side. They pick a team and they won't be convinced either way. Some people say renting is better, some people say buying is better, and they won't change their mind no matter what information you show them. That leads me to believe the quantitative stuff doesn't matter, it's the qualitative stuff, hence this video. While researching this topic to see if I'm completely incorrect or if I have my facts all mixed up, I saw so many videos from people who are clearly on a team, and some have never owned a house before, which is fine, but I've rented and owned. One guy even owns 17 houses, but I think he made a small error in some of his numbers. He's great, please go watch all his videos. But 1.5% for property taxes, that's incorrect. Instead of Googling how much property taxes are, I found actual units. Here are actual units from Ontario suburbs. 0.6%, 0.6%, 0.5%. One from Vancouver, 0.3%. This one is from Brooklyn, New York, 0.3%. This is from San Diego, California, from redfin.com, 0.9%. And lastly, Nashville from redfin.com as well, 0.55%. Another item, insurance at 0.5%, not unless you live in an extremely cheap area where houses are so cheap that the insurance cost is a large portion of your house, but the insurance cost doesn't scale up. A 500 square foot condo in downtown Toronto has insurance of around $25 a month. I chose an online calculator for an Ontario suburb to check this house's insurance. The unit is $840,000, insurance is $94 a month, or $1,131 a year. I can guarantee a $1 million condo downtown Toronto has insurance of around $85 a month. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about how housing is in a bubble and how prices are going to crash and why they'll never buy a house due to this. But where else have we heard of prices crashing in recent months and another crash coming potentially soon? Can't remember. Regardless, let's go through some talking points. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Time in the market. Anyone with a short-term time horizon, 2, 3, maybe even 4 years, you will most likely lose money or at best break even. This is due to the high buying and selling costs, around 6% every time you buy and sell. Anything above 5 years, chances are you might walk away with some cash. Renters. There's usually no upfront costs to starting and closing a lease, so time in the market doesn't really matter. Time is on the renter's side. The renter will always come ahead if the renter or buyer decides to move often or flip houses. Winner, renting. Flexibility. Renting offers more flexibility than buying. You can give 60 days notice, pack up, and move whenever and wherever you want. Get another job anywhere. There are no big hurdles, no big time constraints to moving. Buying offers little to no flexibility, mainly due to the time it takes to find a buyer, even if you're able to find a buyer, plus the costs of buying and selling a house. Homeowners are pretty much financially discouraged from packing up and moving at the drop of a dime. Unless the buyer decides to move out and rent out their current place while buying a new place, the ideal situation for the buyer to make more money out of their investment is to buy and hold for the long term. Winner, renting. Cash predictability. Renters have more predictable cash requirements. But what does this mean? Your rent, your monthly outflow, everything you pay is generally the same every month. You have your rent, which is fixed, and you have your tenant insurance, which is also fixed, should be fixed. This is great for anyone looking to save and invest every month, and it's even less stressful. You can accurately predict what's coming and going out of your bank account every month. Buying. There's nothing predictable about the cash requirements from being a homeowner. If you bought a brand new house, the chances are your cash flows will be predictable for the first 5 years or so before things might start to need some change. My house had no major repairs in the first 5 years. One time, a windstorm blew the shingles off my roof, but thankfully I had insurance, and insurance paid for a completely brand new roof. Houses come with large one-time expenses that you pay every 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, and it's up to the homeowner to budget for this. A roof is needed every 15 to 20 years. You need around $7,500 for this. A furnace, maybe 20 to 25 years. You need $4,000 for this. Kitchen appliances might be $6,000, $7,000, and you'll need to change them every 10, maybe 15 years. These are all large one-time expenses that can seriously put a hurting on your finances if not budgeted for in advance. Winner, renting. Housing predictability. Renters are often subject to the investing skills and the finances of the landlord. If the landlord has mismanaged their funds, the bank forecloses on the house, the renter has to move. This is rare. If the landlord just merely wants to cash in on their investment's appreciation, they sell the house, they force the tenants to leave. This is much more common. Also, the landlord or their children or relatives can opt to live in the house themselves. That means they have every right to ask you to leave. This is way more common. Renters have cash predictability, but not housing predictability. An anecdote from my personal experience, one of my clients was forced to move 3 times 3 years in a row because their landlord was into flipping condos and they were selling the condo they were renting in. My clients didn't want to buy until this happened to them for the 3rd time. They had 3 evictions even though their rent was paid on time every time. Buyers have the ultimate housing predictability. Unless you miss a mortgage payment or don't pay your property taxes, you can stay for as long as you want. There's no threat of you getting kicked out or forced to leave. Winner, buying. Control. Renters often have no control over their house, the interior or the exterior. They're subject to the whims of the landlord. If you need anything repaired, you need to contact the landlord. If you want to change paint or fix anything or upgrade anything, you need consent of the landlord, who may reject your request. Why would the landlord invest in newer, prettier kitchen appliances if the current ones are working fine? It just wastes their money. Even if the kitchen appliances break down and they all need to be replaced, why would the landlord buy new? Why wouldn't they just buy used appliances? It saves them money and you're probably just going to ruin it all over again. Renters have little control. Buyers have all the control. You can upgrade, downgrade, fix, ruin, whatever you want. It's your house. You can renovate the house every 10 years to adjust to your taste or to the times if you want. You can split a bedroom into 2 or split a bedroom into 1 smaller bedroom, 1 office. You can take a bedroom, turn it into a master ensuite. You could turn it into a walk-in closet. You have all the control. Buyers have more control. Winner, buying. Savings or discipline. I wasn't exactly sure what to call this one, but hopefully you get the point. Renters. Unless the renter has 100% discipline to invest all of their savings, the renter will always lose in financial terms to a buyer. Renters have more cash on hand every month. This is true in almost every scenario. But does that mean they save it? Does that mean they invest it? What are the odds you can invest all of your excess cash? Your vacations might get a little nicer. You might spend a little more on clothes. You might get nicer clothes. You might get a car or upgrade a car that you really don't need. You have more money, and it's difficult not to be subject to lifestyle inflation. The more you have, the more you make, the more you spend. Buying a house has forced savings. This is a major benefit of buying. You're forced to pay down your mortgage. However, because you have less cash on hand every month compared to renters, you're not able to actually live your life. You might not have the disposable income to do anything at all. It's called being house poor. You have the money for a house, you have the house, but you don't have any cash left over to do anything else at all. This forced savings might actually be a bad thing if at the end of 30 years you realize you have a paid off house, you have no mortgage, but then you realize in the last 30 years you haven't lived your life, you haven't enjoyed it at all. Winner in this scenario, I'm not going to call a winner. I actually think it's a tie. Renters have more cash on hand every month and need discipline to save, but will most likely fail. Also, buyers have less cash to spend every month and might actually be less happy than their renting neighbors. I'm calling this a lose-lose. There you have it. The tally at the end of my qualitative analysis of 6 factors has it 3 wins for renting, 2 wins for buying, and 1 tie. This is why I made 2 videos. The numbers show a clear winner, but numbers aren't everything. The qualitative analysis is more important in my mind. Thank you for watching. Thank you for making it this far. It's actually tough to think of every scenario in terms of renting or buying. You have to think about the city, your state, your province, your tax rate, whether inflation will go up, if your housing growth rate will go up more than the stock market growth rate. Regardless, I think if you just pick a side, you'll be happy either way. This is my last week of doing real estate videos for maybe the next few weeks, maybe next few months. I'm going full steam ahead on investing, and stay tuned to my option series starting next week. Thanks, guys.